Hey, what's up, everybody? So we're back at Lanier Raceplex. It's a pretty awesome day out. It's nice. First day of fall, almost. I think that was a couple days ago, but cooling off. Not so hot and sweaty anymore. You still got the long sleeves on, but...
Yeah, I don't want to ruin my skin, so...
Right. So tell us who you are. I brought you out here just to kind of talk a little bit, but you're someone special for this track, so...
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. My name is Ed Dombrowski, and I am a local.
Okay.
I moved up to Brazelton, I guess it was 3 years ago now this summer. And part of the reason I moved was to be close to Road Atlanta. I love the races. I love hearing the cars. And, when Caffeine and Octane bought this place again in January, I took the opportunity to come over and take some pictures here. And have just gotten really, become a fixture here. I think if they're running, I'm here.
Yeah. No, I know you live right up the street, not too far away, so it's super convenient. And you primarily started with Road Atlanta, but now Caffeine and Octane's kind of taken...
Yeah, I'll shoot anything. Like next week, I'm taking 4 days off from work, and I'll be at the Petite Le Mans shooting the whole thing, and just for myself.
Yeah.
Last Wednesday, I shot at Atlanta Motorsports Park for an SCCA track night. But this is kind of home. They treat me like royalty here.
Yeah, right.
It's great. I come in and I get to do whatever I want, mostly, as long as it's safe.
Yep.
And, I like getting here and taking pictures for everybody.
Nice. So, okay, that's a road course. This is more drifting. Where, and some of the other motorsports you had mentioned, where does drifting kind of fall on that tier of shooting or just pure enjoyment?
It's funny because I grew up a motorsports fan. I'm a huge Formula One fan, World Superbike, MotoGP, a lot of the European racing series. And drifting wasn't even on my radar.
Oh, man.
as something that I would be interested in until I got here.
Yeah.
And, the first couple times I got here, I was just hooked. And I think from a photography perspective, it's,
right.
I have such good access here, and I can get so close, and I can make shots that I just won't make. And, at Road Atlanta, and there's something about the big long trails, the smoke as the sun is setting and it's lighting it, and just the light in this place and the action. I'll love the drifting now. So
yeah.
I've been learning about drifting and watching the Formula Drift replays for the whole year, but it's been good.
So from a photography perspective, does it really make a difference shooting this versus shooting that?
No, motorsports, there are certain aspects in motorsports that are different than other types of photography. It is a very gear-dependent type of photography.
Okay.
People love to say, well, if you're a good photographer, it doesn't matter. And it doesn't for a lot of shots, but
right.
For motorsports, it definitely does. You need a camera that can shoot a lot of frames a second. You need lenses that can be wide open and that are long. And you need to shoot at really slow shutter speeds. So it's a different skill set. So
gotcha.
Usually people, they want to freeze the action. In motorsports, you want to have the car clear, but you definitely don't want to freeze the action, or it looks like they're parked.
Right.
Nobody likes those pictures. So it's a little bit different.
So when you shoot, do you shoot on multiple shots at the same time? What, a shutter, or what do you call that?
Yeah, usually
I'll
I'll shoot at my camera will do up to 40 frames a second.
Okay.
But I shoot at about 5 frames a second. I find is about the sweet spot for me in terms of, when you're panning at such a slow shutter speed, if you take 1 frame, chances are it's not going to be in focus. It's not going to be sharp.
Right.
And so, if I take 5 or 10, I'll probably get 3 or 4 that are crisp, and hopefully they're in the right, area that I want it to be in.
So once you get your shot, how much post-processing or editing are you doing for these albums you're putting out?
Not a ton.
Okay.
It's usually I shoot in RAW, so it's kind of undeveloped. So if you take a picture with your iPhone, it comes out in a JPEG, and it adds contrast and saturation and things. A RAW file doesn't have that, so it looks really dull if you just look at it. But so you add a little saturation and sharpness and contrast, but the benefit is is it's much more flexible up and down. So you can, if it's underexposed, you can bring the exposure up without getting, if you've ever seen a JPEG that's pushed too far, like in the sky, you'll see bands of different colors. You don't get that with RAW files.
Okay, that's pretty interesting. When you're shooting cars, what pops for you? What's important? I know you kind of mentioned the smoke earlier, but what makes you say, I'm going to shoot this car and not shoot that car?
Well, when it comes to drifting, I think it starts, right? When you first start, it's about, oh my God, these things are moving really fast and it's hard to get a sharp shot, and I'm not paying attention to composition and light. I'm just paying attention to, you know, getting a car in focus at speed with a blurred background.
Right.
As you get better at it, you'll see me move around to find the pockets of light, you know, that are on this track. So good photography, whether it's portraiture, landscapes, anything, is about good light. And the good light tonight will be for about an hour. That's it. You know, at about 6 to 7 will probably be the best time. And I'll be looking for those pockets of light. I'll be looking for a pleasing composition. And then you're looking for, you know, nice cars doing big drifts. There's a lot of beaters out here, and I shoot them too, but the ones that I really love to shoot are like when we get the Formula Drift guys here. It's a lot of fun. Yeah,
big shout out Ben Hobson and Nick Novak, our regulars here, sponsored by Coher Works. I think last time it was
Dustin Mills, and he's here again tonight.
Nice. Yeah, so it's really special, you know, a track like this that's basically local home for us is, you know, able to host some pretty big names. And, you know, EJ, you'll get there. You start shooting these guys, and it'll be fun. So cool.
I would love to get to Formula Drift over at Road Atlanta. When they come by. So
did you do that last year by chance?
I did not. You know, I hadn't shot here yet, so and it was funny because I had been to every event this year at Road Atlanta except Formula Drift because in May I didn't know better.
Right.
But you know, next year, I mean, that's always, you know, for me, the goal is, you know, is to make great pictures, to get some form of compensation for making great pictures, and to get access. Right. And access at Road Atlanta is a lot tougher.
Yeah.
So it would be cool to get good at media access for Formula Drift.
I think they offer something for, you know, the average person. You know, you don't have to be a super hot shot. So I would be kind of surprised if they don't find a spot for you out there this time and come around. So pretty neat. When you're doing this, you said you get a little bit of compensation. So what, you sell packages? Do you have a website? What?
Yeah, so I mean, for this, typically not. You know, there's been people that have, you know, hey, can I send you a beer money or whatever, and that's fine. Because this for me is Friday night. It's, you know, I do contracts and pricing all week for a Fortune 10 company.
Yeah.
And it's like I get out here and I get to take pictures and be in the middle of it and stuff. But yeah, I just did some work Wednesday for SCCA track night, and that's you know, some prepaid, some galleries, you know, where it's you just kind of spray and pray and you put them up in a gallery, and if people want to buy pictures, they do that. And you know, I think at some point, ideally what I would like to do is just team coverage.
Gotcha.
Which is, you know, come in and spend the entire weekend with us, from unloading and to be able to do portraiture and to be able to do more creative shots. Than, you know, when you're doing those gallery shoots, it's just like you're just trying to get a clear picture of everybody so they can say, hey, I was there. But you know, when you go and do a team shoot like that, it's a much more creative experience, and you can do some cooler stuff. I
know one of your favorite, you know, types of shots is, we haven't really talked about it, is the people, you know. It's always really neat to see those moments that you capture, those random conversations, those pit helps, you know, when people are helping each other work on the cars. You're really capturing the whole atmosphere of the event. And that, when you're talking about the team, you know, if you could do a whole weekend with just one team, it would definitely, that would be something special.
I think, you know, for me, it was funny because when I got a camera, I was scared to death to take pictures of people because it's intimidating. Just like it, you know, when you had to come up to me and ask me to do this, you're putting yourself out there. You're saying, hey, I need something from you. When you're taking somebody's picture, you know, you're saying, trust me to make a good likeness of you. And it was really hard for me. And you don't want to let them down. You don't want to let yourself down. You want to make a beautiful image. And I just back when Showcase Photo was still down in Atlanta, I did a lot of classes down there on portrait photography. And I had a great instructor, David Knox, and he moved back to Oklahoma. But, you know, I just fell in love with taking pictures of people, and I still do. So when I'm not doing this, I cover my daughter's cheer, competition cheer, and I love to do the behind the scenes. And we did some new uniform portraits in downtown Brazelton with lots of lights, and the girls felt like movie stars. And so I like to do it all, but I do. Right. I got away from it a little bit in the last month or two, and I did a bunch of photos for the Legends. If you go on Caffeine and Octane's group on Facebook and look at my Legends photos, there was not a lot of racing on Friday night until late, so I just did a ton of stuff in the pits, and I got some great people pictures. It was cool.
Nice. Do you do any like videography, or is it just mostly stills?
I do not. I'm trying to learn. Yeah. So I bought a little gimbal for my iPhone. Okay. My camera that I have now is probably one of the better video cameras. It's a little overwhelming. With editing and just the volume of content and having to manage all that. So, you know, I spent a lot of time learning Photoshop and Lightroom and new techniques, and you know, now it's just dipping my toes in the videography. But, you know, I've quickly learned if you want to build a social media presence now, you need to do reels. Yeah. You cannot just do photos. No matter how good they are, nobody sees them. Yeah.
It's all about that new format, you know, that's really taken off recently, you know. Everybody's short attention spans growing. So, no, it's a lot of content in that little bit. So it's pretty neat. So, for me, I do vlogging mostly. I had a camera. I went on a safari and I did some nature photos. Barely learned, so you're probably leagues past what I could learn. But yeah, with videography too, I just I don't really do any editing. It's, hey, talk to the camera, and that's it. Just cut out the dead spots, and that's about it. So it's pretty neat to kind of hear, you know, your take on your development as well. Even somebody who, to me, kind of knows it all. Not saying you're a know-it-all, but, you know, way more experience, still having the opportunity to learn and try new things, right?
Yeah, it's every well, and I like to do it. I usually will wake up in the morning and I have subscriptions to Creative Live and Kelby One, and I'll do, you know, learn new, you know, editing techniques or new video stuff, or, you know, just about anything that helps my craft. And the cool thing for me is, you know, I am not a creative person. I don't sing, I don't dance, I can't draw.
No music, instruments?
No, nothing. No. But I can take pictures, and it was learned. You know, like the technical stuff is easy for me. I have a technical background, so the technicality of a camera is easy, but light and composition and interacting with portrait subjects, and those were all things that were there's a quote by Dorothea Lange that said photography was a skill that taught her how to see the world. It really does that for me. It makes me stop and look at things that, until I picked up a camera, never interested me. And now I'll look at something, or just the way the light is landing on something and a boring object in my house, and be like, well, that's really cool. So it's been like that for me. It's been one of those things that's added a lot to my life over the years, that I was not innately born creative. Neat
opportunity, exposure, punny with the camera settings, but So we'll go ahead and wrap it up soon. So 2 final questions. One, if somebody is trying to do what you do, come out here, say, as an example, where do they start? You know, you mentioned starting videography with an iPhone. Can they do pictures with an iPhone? What type of camera, or just in general, like getting comfortable getting out?
I mean, if you're talking motorsports, right, you can do a lot of it, you know, sadly, is in the middle of the dead sunlight in the day, right? Yeah. And it's hard to get beautiful light, but the good news is inexpensive gear will work in there. But you know, the important thing with motorsports photography is, yes, you need a skill set, but almost more importantly is you need access.
Yeah.
And that is it. And it involves lots of emails, lots of no's, lots of phone calls,
Yep.
and just showing up. And, you know, I've found that I show up, I take pictures, I try to, you know, spread them around to people, and doors have started opening. The job I did on Wednesday was for another photographer that couldn't cover it, and he's seen my work and said, hey, can you come out? And it ended up that he was able to make it, and we did it together. But for motorsports photography, it's just showing up, and you can start with your iPhone, you can start with, you know, limited gear, but access is the key.
Just getting out there, meeting people, shaking hands, doing favors, you know, not real favors, but just, you know, providing something. So, yeah, and last question before we wrap it up. If somebody wants to check out your work or check out what you do, what are your social media tags?
Well, my social media tags are View from a Cube Racing.
Okay.
So View from a Cube is I am a Cube Farm resident, so
Okay.
my photography was always the View from a Cube.
Yeah.
And it's _ racing, or my personal is just View from a Cube on Instagram.
Okay.
And my website is viewfromacube.com.
Nice. Well, sincerely appreciate your time. This has been great. I think we've learned a lot, and maybe do another one sometime in the future. You know, get some more time under our belts and maybe follow back up. But this has been great.
I appreciate it, Todd.
Yeah.
It's been good
Well,
to get to know you.
thank you.
All
Yeah.
right.